Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? It's me, Paddy from across the shuck. And like I said last week, I was going to do my European knives this week, and I am. I was surprised at how few I have. Although Europe's not well, it is quite a big place, but there's a lot that I haven't got from, and that I think I need to actually. Again, sometimes you do these videos, so I'm going to start looking for more European knives to fill in the gaps that I've got here, because it's only until you do this, you get them all out and you're having a look through your collection, you realize just what you haven't got. There's a couple of countries like Germany, France, um, that I have numerous knives of. Switzerland, lots of Swiss Army knives. But there's a lot of the smaller countries I just haven't got here, and I really am going to make a point this year of filling in some of the gaps. So I'll just get started. I don't want to make this a long video again. Let's just get started with our nearest European neighbours, and that is the Republic of Ireland. I'm in the north of Ireland, and Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and just across the border, we're only six small counties, and then across the border and you're into the Republic of Ireland, which is one of the nicest places to go. So's the north, but the north and south of Ireland is one of the nicest places to go on a holiday. We've got history, we've got scenery, we've got just everything. We're surrounded by sea. It's just a beautiful place to go. And if you're lucky enough, like I had been in my past, we had a motorhome, me and my wife. It was an old one, but we travelled up and down the lengths of this country, and we didn't even feel the need. Now we went over to England and Wales mostly, um, but we just stayed in our own country because there was so much to find out. I enjoyed going on holiday, north and south. Fantastic time. So there you go. And the first one we've got, and it's the only one. I've got two of them, but this is it's an old Barlow. It was let me just get it up and I will show you. Let me see. There you go. That's it. Oh, let me just get this broke. This is an Imperial Ireland. Not sure whether you can see that. Let's see if we can get a wee zoom in. There you go. Imperial Ireland. And like these were budget price knives. They were cheap, they were cheerful, they're clipped on, the bolsters are clipped on, and it rattles in hand. It's just, but listen to that opening. It's still after all these years, I'm not sure how old this would be, but I'm sure it's 50 years old at least. Look at that clip blade. And this is a granddaddy Barlow. So this is a big Barlow in your hand. You have lots left hanging out there, but great big Barlow. And look at the blade stock, how thin that blade stock is. This knife is a cutting demon. I just want you to hear how sharp that is. I've got a lovely edge on it. And this is a slicing machine. I love the nail nick, or sorry, the long pull on there. It's just a fabulous big knife. And like you can buy these for buttons now, and I know they're a bit rattly, but if you just want something in a toolbox or to lie in a car that you're going to take out and use, this is just an absolute genuine slicer machine. And it's a carbon steel, or is it? Maybe, well, yeah, it does seem to be carbon, but it's been kept well. Do you know what I mean? It's been kept, and to be honest with you, I enjoy having this in my collection because it's that I love every price range, as you know, but this is just a super one to start with. This shows you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a big slicer machine like this. Do you know what I mean? It's not even centered. It's just plastic bolsters. They've sort of made an attempt at doing cross cut on them, but it's just a simply cheap but really useful knife to have if you want to throw it somewhere. So that's where we'll start. And then we'll come down here. Italy. I only have one of Italy at the minute. And in my past, I had plenty from Italy. I just don't have them at the minute. I've actually traded a few recently, so I haven't got. This is a beautiful little knife. This is a tiny little knife. When I say tiny, what is it? It must be about 3 inches. It's, yeah, 3 1/4 actually. It's bigger than I thought. Very skinny little knife. Lovely shape to it. The bone on this little knife, for what it is, it's just gorgeous bone. Bit lighter on this side, but you can really see that it's just hand jigged. This is a Mazarin made in Italy, in Maniago. And it's a super little penknife, super little pocket knife. It's long enough, it's bigger than your peanuts and things like that. So you got that longer blade, which will do more work. But a beautiful fifth pocket knife, or any pocket for that matter. It's centered right up the hey diddle diddle. Lovely little knife. Didn't cost me much money at all, but it was the bone that drew me to it. That is just gorgeous. So we'll move on to Spain, and I've got a couple here from Spain that I really like. This is the first one of them. This is a slip joint, and it has that Spanish Navaja sort of look to it. I love this blade shape. To me, this looks like the front of a speedboat. Can you see it there? It's a beautiful shape, really thin blade stock, but it doesn't come down. It stays about the same all the way down. It doesn't come down to a really fine point. So this is a good working knife. Very good strong backspring on it. But that blade, high flat ground, it's just absolutely best. Flat as good as Badamit. There's a bit of a swedge here as well. But I love this knife. And in hand, this little thing wraps around. I have a large hand. The bigger your hand, the more you're going to wrap around it. But it is lovely in hand. You feel very secure in it. And I adore this. It's just cheap plastic scales. These, again, would have been cheap price. And I'm sure they are. I mean, I buy them for cheap off, where did I get them? I think I got these off, oh dear, what do you call it? That'll come to me. I got this one there as well. So there's Etsy. God, couldn't think of. I got these on Etsy. This is another one. This is a locking one, which I adore. This is the first one I got, and then I seen that and I got that because that's a slip joint. But it's that same shape. If you take that away, it's like a racing boat, the front of a big, powerful racing boat. It is an amazing blade shape. And again, with this one, doesn't come down to an ultra fine tip. So again, it can be used without worry. Do you know what I mean? Flat ground, just beautiful, lovely little knife to carry. Again, dirt cheap scales on this one. But this is a really unusual locking mechanism. You pull this up and then you push forward, let it come back down again, and then fold it away. Really unusual locking mechanism, but very sturdy. And I've used this a lot. I've carried this a lot. I just think it's a nice wee one to carry. Just an oddball knife to carry. And then we go on to a more up-to-date one. This is a Joker knife, and this is one of their cheapest. I think it was about £20 or something. Very, very cheap. Beautiful, sort of that generic blade shape. That bug out blade shape and lots of others. It's just lovely. And this lovely handle is just beautiful on it. Very blonde, but very nice. And it says on the back Carbino or Carbono. Uh, Beautiful in hand. Lovely little cheap knife with a cheap blade steel, but takes a wicked edge. Really wicked edge on this. And again, for nothing. It is a lovely little knife. Just remember, with a lot of these Spanish and French knives, don't slam them down because they have a terrible habit of not having a ricasso to stop them bashing off the bottom. And this one doesn't either. So you have to be sort of gentle. Whatever it is, they do it in their country, and that's fine. Absolutely fine by me. We'll leave Spain now and we're going to go into France. And this is an open L, of which I have maybe 6, 7, 8 of them, all different shapes. But this is my posh one. This is for eating out. If you're going out for lunch, you can bring that up and then you can lock it. Beautiful knife, especially for cheese or, you're just absolutely lovely knife. And it's got that sort of horn shape to it as well. I just think in hand, this is beautiful. It's one of the nicest knives. And again, you can put a really nice edge on it. Lovely fine blade, super cutter for a steak or whatever, or cheese, slicing down cheese, perfect. Absolutely perfect. And you have that roto lock on, you just turn it to the side, pull it down, and then roto lock it again when turn it back. I have another couple of French knives as well that we'll get to in a minute. This is Swiss, and the only Swiss ones I have are my Swiss Army. And this one is the one with a punch. I think, is it a farmer they call it? Or it's like a boy's knife. It's got a beautiful punch in the back of it. Lovely punch. Really useful. Show that there. Super useful punch. And you have a main blade and then the usual bottle opener and can opener on the other. But it's a lovely blade, really nice. And I love the A-locks in it. Makes it a very slim knife for a two blade, or, you know, two layer, three layer, sorry. No, it is two layer because that's sticking over the top. Yeah, two layer. So I love that. I love the A-locks. But this Dan from Bladebridge got me, and I'd been looking for one for ages, and he managed to get me one. Just an absolute gem. I love this. And why do I love it? It's got your typical opening. You got it's a bit of an older pattern of a can opener, and then you have the bottle opener penknife on this side. Then you have what I just, this is what I wanted. How often do you see well, this is not Victorian, this is a Wenger, and half and half with a serrated blade, which is incredibly sharp. But you just don't see them now. You really don't see them. And I was so pleased to get that. So thank you, Dan. Always check Dan out on the Instagram. I mean, he's a master with Swiss Army knives, rebuilding, making fancy custom ones, but just finding things that other people can't find. And a gentleman, he does, and he doesn't overcharge, which is so important to people these days that are maybe short of a few quid. But that's really lovely. I love to have the Swiss. I've got a couple of Wengers and I've got more the Swiss Army, but I love them. And here's another one. Here's Germany. We've got quite a few German ones here. This, I'm not sure of the company because it doesn't make it, it doesn't say it on it, but maybe someone will know. I think somebody had told me before this is just the name of a company. Putek, Puteki, but there's no name. It just says made in Solingen, Germany. Inox Solingen, Germany. But it doesn't say who it is. And it's their take on a Swiss Army knife. And it's virtually copied, you know what I mean? But it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And you get this lovely little small clip point, which is gorgeous on it. I'm saying it's clip, but suppose it maybe more even drop, but it's a beautiful, it's a nice change from just a penknife. I love that. And then obviously there you go, you get the main tools, and they're reversed on this one. They're on different sides, and you get a can opener here. But what you don't get is any of the end tools. Sorry, I'm sort of hiding this away from you. You don't get any end tools on it, but it's a very well made knife, and of all the copies I've got, this is probably the closest to getting the real thing. And I love the black scales on it. Really nice knife to have in my collection. Now we're going to head on in. This is a Bulldog brand. This is one of my lovely Barlows with that beautiful bolster on it. Beautifully done. Thickly embossed, not embossed, but stamped. It's beautiful all the way around. Lovely. Fit and finish is amazing. The stag has been well handled, and that's the best way to put it. This knife was carried and handled, but they didn't use it a whole lot because look at that blade. This is the easy opening blade. Um, Beautifully down the center of that one, and then you get the nice pen blade with a nail nick, which is again lovely done. Really nice. And I think you find this one actually centers as well. Yeah, both really well centered. Beautiful knife. One of my collecting pieces with bolsters with names, or anything that's on a bolster. I love on a Barlow. Love it. And here's another German one. This is a Boker, but this is an old Boker. This is a really old Boker. Beautiful old Boker. I love this knife. It's battered, it's bruised, it's been squashed off center. What do you see when I show you this? You'll see just how off center. Look how off center that is. It's as if somebody run it over with a car or something, or hit it with something heavy. But you've got that old Boker tree. I just love this with a lovely rounded bolster. I really like that. But it's just a diamond of a knife, and you heard the snap on that. Even though it is badly, listen to that snap. This is the only problem with it. The pen blade opens and holds in place, but it doesn't have any snap. And that's absolutely fine. That wouldn't bother me. I've a saw cut bone here. It's just an absolute belter of a little knife. I love having that in my collection. And we'll go on to one of my favourite knives to use, but it's just bar none. It's beautiful. This is the Boker Club knife, and this one's in ironwood, desert ironwood, and it's got a lovely fat spear blade on it. It's just beautiful. I love that swedge. And it's quite flamboyant for Boker, because a lot of Boker's knives, you know, they don't have a lot of swedges. They sort of make them very bland, if you like. And I don't mean that in a bad way either, but I love this sort of cigar pattern here, the equal end. And in the hand, it is just so comfortable. Lovely thin stock, so it's a nice slicer. Again, just beautiful edge on that. Half stop just down there, and pretty much up the hey diddle diddle. Lovely, lovely knife. I do enjoy a Boker. And then we've got Fighting Rooster, and I picked two of these out um, because, you know, a lot of people will see Fighting Rooster, the sort of the more budget end of the knives, but this is a real high end, this one here. This is a Stockman, and this was from 1995, and it was one of 250 made. You've got that swing low sweet chariot. For me, rugby, that's a, you know, it was just a no-brainer. When I seen this, I had to have it. Beautifully golden etched on there. So I don't use this a whole lot. I've carried it, but I don't use it a whole lot, simply because that is such nice writing and design. This is the sheep's foot. Again, another lovely little sheep's foot. So if I am carrying it and it's sharp, I don't know, you know, I've kept it sharp. I would be using these two small blades, and then you have the spay blade, a little stumpy spay, which again I love anyway. And you have the Fighting Roosters on there. Beautiful. And then what they also do is, this is another high-end mother of pearl, genuine mother of pearl, which is just reflectivity. It's just beautiful. And oh, you sort of see in the colors there. Sometimes it's very hard to get the colors. Just the way the light is from outside, it's picking up from the blue sky. But you'll see everything. There's greens, there's reds. It's just a stunning knife. So well made, but very unusual. And again, I love unusual knives. Look at this blade. It's like an upswept blade. Can you see that? It's really unusual, and I'm sure there was a purpose for it. This one's it's just got Fighting Rooster on it. I'm not sure what year this would have been from, but my goodness, is that just beautiful. It is lovely, really unusual blade, but you can't it down the way, which is really lovely for slicing. You know, if you're on a cheese board, again, I'm using that just as a topic, because if you're on a board, there's plenty of belly there to get down and cut through something. Even your sandwich at work, what a posh sandwich! Look at that colours and that; it's just beautiful. It's probably the best light I've ever had on this, because I know it's beautiful. And again, fit and finish. The Germans just had a way with the fit and finish. And we're going to come to the last two, which are French. Two beautiful knives. This one's let me just get this open. This is a user. You can tell that it's been used. It's a lovely eating knife. It really is. Made in France. This is their relic. And you'll see the little Frenchman's head there. And the GR, I can't remember what that stands for anymore. Can't remember. But a beautiful knife in ram's horn. Lovely rounded bolster. Really nice and clean finish. The bolster, are the scales, the covers, are a bit cloudy on the back, but on the front, absolutely beautiful. That dreamy, milky colour, just gorgeous. Really nice knife. Lovely for, I consider this an eating knife, as the next one is as well. But this is more for your average dinner, your daily dinner. It's not an over expensive one compared to the next one I'm going to show you, which is fairly expensive. And this is my Lethers, which is one of the French companies I always wanted. I managed to pick this up. This is in buffalo horn. There is slight flecking on this side, but on this side here, there's much, much more. It's like a big feather all the way down here, and where the bark has actually split, but it's just perfect. It's never moved. It's been like that since I got it. And this is my posh steak knife. If I'm going out anywhere posh, which I'll have to say is very, very rare, but listen to that. The Thur is just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful knife. Look at that. that is a stunning steak knife. To bring that out anywhere, that is just beautiful. I love it. Really do love this knife. I had used it for a while at home, but then I cleaned it up. I just didn't want it to get discolored. I used that one around the house if I'm going to use one. But this is just a beautiful knife. I keep saying beautiful a lot. I have no idea why I say it, but it's because I do find them all beautiful. So there's my European collection. It's not vast. I mean, I have lots of these, especially Germans. I have lots of them. You know, the French and the Swiss. I've got their knives. I've got a few Spanish. But I need to start finding the smaller countries within, you know, like Norway, Sweden, things like that. I need to find them out, and I need to get a knife from each of them, sort of around that main European area, just to make my collection complete for me. So thank you very much for watching, and we've gone over the 20 minutes as normal. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon for another video. Bye now.